Welcome back into the 143, episode 34, coming at you live.
That's right, episode 34. This is the Wednesday before NFL season week 1.
We are finally here. We have finally watched live football this past weekend.
This is the last week that we will not be talking about NFL football.
True. And
until January.
This week we will be talking about college football because we had our first weekend of college football to kick this football season off, and we are pumped to be bringing y'all real football talk, not about just random off-season stuff.
Or the Cowboys.
We're ready to talk about what's actually going on with these games and to see what the coaches, players, teams, just how the season unfolds for both college and NFL. But we are pumped to be bringing you this episode about college football and what we saw this past weekend, what to look for the rest of the season, and so on and so forth. Let us get started with the stat of the week, brought to you by our sponsor, Andrews Logistics. The stat this week is that Alabama Crimson Tide was the preseason favorite this year to win it all, and they have the third highest prediction rate in history. So basically, they're favored third highest in history to win a single college football season.
If you ask me, that's preposterous.
I was very surprised by how high they are. Double-digit favorites in every game they're playing this season.
Really?
Every game. They are just the 14th team to be double-digit favorites in every game.
Interesting.
In history. So, pretty shocking. I thought that would be a good way to start off the direction of this show today, because we'll be debunking that here today on Under Review.
Your player of the week is the Dallas Cowboys' newest recruit, Mr. Jason Peters.
Welcome to the team, Mr.
Been
Peters.
in the league for a while.
A hot
Nicknamed the Bodyguard, Godfather, or Mythical Creature.
Just the mythical creature?
Yeah.
No, okay, that's pretty general, but
That's
all right.
just his mythical creature. Okay, anyways, made it to 9 Pro Bowls, 2-time All-Pro. He has a Super Bowl ring, and hopefully he will get another in Dallas. Also, something else, he has 2 receptions for 5 yards and 1 touchdown.
Much needed receiver qualities because we have no receivers.
Absolutely. He's been in the league since 2004.
He is 40 years old.
40 years of age.
That's a veteran if I've ever seen one.
That is a veteran. But
Welcome
hey,
to the team, Jason. Welcome to the team.
if he can do something good for us, then by all means.
I heard today that his main job is going to be mentoring Tyler Smith, our newest rookie on the O-line, and kind of teaching him how to play left tackle better without penalties. And so since
Hopefully
Tyron's
teaching
down,
him how to not hold.
I would be okay with Jason Peters coming in and playing left tackle for us.
I mean,
Now-
he'll be better than what we have, I think.
He'll be on the line, I heard, once he learns all the plays. Welcome to the team, Jason Peters. We're excited to have you. Long-time rival on the Eagles. He said some pretty bad things about the Cowboys over the years, but I guess his tune changed a wee bit now that we're signing his paychecks.
Well, I would hope so.
So, glad to have him. Glad to have some experience
Welcome to the team.
on that team. Let's jump into college football. Nick, greatest thing you saw this weekend out of all the games? There were a lot of kind of bad ones.
The most exciting thing that I saw
I
for
know where
sure,
he's going.
the Florida State LSU game.
That game was crazy.
It was very crazy. And the thing that was very interesting was seeing the LSU punt returner muff 2 punts. And then obviously the big thing was Florida State fumbling at the 2, and then LSU driving 98 yards, scoring a touchdown.
In the last second of the game.
In the last second of the game, no time on the clock. It's 23-24. All they have to do is kick a field goal and
An extra point.
Yes, sorry, an extra point, and the game goes into overtime. And Florida State blocks it, which was the second blocked kick of the game, and they lose. and that was just absolutely amazing to me because I am
It was
anti-LSU.
It was crazy. Needless to say, LSU special teams needs some work. And it was awesome to see LSU lose their first game of the season. It was awesome to see Brian Kelly lose his first game of the season.
Every time they put the camera on Brian Kelly, he looked like he was just absolutely dead inside.
And
his face.
Because he's
death.
been getting like the he's Notre Dame, right? Notre Dame's always in the top 5 no matter what. They could lose all their games and they'd still be in the college football playoff. And so he's been getting cherry picked every year to be in there, and now he's finally getting a taste of the SEC.
Yeah.
Actually, he lost to an
right.
ACC team, but I cannot wait till we play them here in College Station.
Smack them.
Last game of the season. That was a crazy inning. I would encourage you to go watch the last 2 minutes of that game on YouTube.
Also, that's a good thing for the Cowboys because Joseph mentioned to me a stat that I also saw on Twitter that the last time the Cowboys won the Super Bowl, their quarterback was going into year 7. The
Dak.
Super Bowl was in Arizona, and the LSU football coach lost their debut game. And so all of these things have happened this year. It's Dak's 7th year. Super Bowl is in Arizona, and LSU lost their first game.
The stars are
So
aligning.
it sounds to me like the Cowboys are winning the Super Bowl.
You heard it here first,
Because
folks.
if we have learned anything about the stars aligning in a certain way, we know it's true. Because think about what we were talking about in the NBA Finals with Kendrick Lamar dropping his album, and the past 2 times that happened, the Golden State Warriors
3.
won, and then that was the 3rd time. So
There you go. So we just called it.
Cowboys are getting a ring.
Yes, they are. I will say the college football weekend didn't have very many. It had a few good games, but a lot of them were blowouts. A lot of teams
It was
playing
a lot of
no-name
good teams
teams.
playing no names.
And then also Georgia just blew Oregon out of the water. That shows you, ladies and gentlemen, Pac-12 teams do not need to be coming into these big conferences because they're going to get whooped. Maybe not USC, but Oregon needs to stay in the Pac-12.
Dude, also Bo Nix is not the guy. Like
He really is not.
he got love when he was on Auburn, but obviously he did not do very well at Oregon. And also Georgia's defense, once again, absolute powerhouse.
And this is why Alabama should not be heavy favorites to just win it all. Georgia is still there. They didn't go anywhere.
Yeah,
and they
exactly.
won. We're forgetting that they won last year. They beat Bama last year. Beat them by double digits in the national championship game. So I'm not sure why we're all going crazy about Bama again.
It's just because it's Saban. He just gets all the love every single year from everybody.
I
it's
just can't
undeserved.
wait for them to lose. But I think that one of the better games that I saw, Florida and Utah. Utah number 7 playing in Gainesville, and Florida was up by 3. 18 seconds left in the game. Utah's on Florida's 6-yard line, about to score and go up and probably win the game. And the Utah quarterback throws a pick in the end zone. Florida wins. It was crazy, big upset. Good win for Florida because Florida's been struggling the last couple of years. And Utah is just one of those teams that is like they'll beat good teams out of nowhere, and then when they need to win, they just don't get it.
Yeah, I think they were ranked way too high. Obviously, they should drop a bunch. They were ranked
They
7,
should,
and
yeah.
they will drop a lot after losing to Florida. And whenever I saw that play happen, I got like flashbacks to the Seahawks-Patriots Super Bowl.
Yes.
Of when Russell Wilson threw the pick on the goal line. Obviously, it was kind of a little bit different situation, but that's just like immediately what my mind went to.
I think that Utah will not be ranked sooner or later in the next few games, but I think that the whole college football rearranging everything, super conferences, we need to take into account that some of these schools just do not have the talent to be coming into these other conferences. So like OU and Texas coming in the SEC, that makes sense because they just have a lot of good recruits,
Yeah.
big name schools. USC going into the Big Ten makes sense. Like UCLA going into the Big Ten makes no sense at all.
Well,
They don't have any recruits.
got a ton of recruits, and then they got a better coach.
UCLA has done
Two.
nothing. I don't know why UCLA is moving. Probably just because they're an LA school. But now we're trying to make all these other conferences, and it just doesn't make any sense. at all. We are Aggies. We went to the A&M game against Sam Houston State, and obviously we won by a lot. What did you take away from that game?
So A&M won 31-0, but that is exactly what the score should have been, if not more. So I'm not surprised at all. One thing is I'm not going to give my opinion on Haynes King just yet, because if I were to take this game alone, I would say he's not the guy. But in his defense, he played 2 games last year.
1.5.
Not even 2. He played 1.5 games last year, and he only played 1 game this year. So I won't give my opinion on Haynes King just yet because I want to see a little bit more. But also, the O-line was just absolutely terrible. He was kind of running for his life back there in the backfield, and then also the run game couldn't take off because the O-line was just getting absolutely obliterated by Sam Houston State.
I think the thing is, you hear 31-0, you're like, wow, that's really good. But breaking it down by quarter, we scored 1 touchdown a quarter.
But then also
against Sam Houston State.
Sam Houston easily had 2 touchdowns.
Yes.
At least.
Their quarterback
could throw.
Yeah, he missed 2 wide open throws. Our coverage was blown
many times, but he just botched so many throws. And then also he was pretty athletic. Like with he was an athletic dude. Like we
couldn't stop
beating
a QB
bunch of our guys. Yeah, once they started QB running it a ton.
What I take away from we were supposed to win. It's no surprise that we won the game. We should have won by more, in my opinion, way more. Should have been 31-0 at halftime. Exactly. What I take away from the game is a lot of our guys are young and inexperienced in college football, and we really need them to get acquainted with kind of the speed of the game, because we're getting cooked in our secondary. We're getting beat on the front four. Our defensive line was terrible. They couldn't sack the QB for Sam Houston State. What are we supposed to do when we go up against Alabama? Mm-hmm. We're going to get killed. Our offense, Haynes King, he's accurate, which is good. He doesn't
loves to throw it into double coverage. Yeah, that is his most favorite thing in the world.
Our A-Chain has got to get yards. I mean, he stopped behind the line by Sam Houston State every time. Our receivers were good. I don't have any complaints about them. But Haynes needs to just get some experience with the decision-making. I mean, like, it wasn't – I'm not like, oh, we're going to lose every game. I mean, it was a good – obviously, we blew him out. We'll see more. We'll see more this Saturday against Appalachian State. See if we can handle business against another.
These guys just need to get experience, so it'll take a little bit before we get into our groove.
We need to be, I would say, for A&M to have a successful season. Obviously, the goal is a championship, but at least 10 wins is what we need.
I think that's gettable.
No more of these 8-4 seasons. I will say I don't think this is our year. I'm pretty sure. I would say next year is more the goal for taking a shot at the national championship. But it'll be interesting this season to see what A&M does.
Also, with the college football playoffs being extended to 12 teams in the near future, I could see A&M would have a solid shot at getting into the playoffs. About every year.
It would be a shoo-in if it was 12.
Yeah, I mean that benefits us for sure.
It definitely does. What are your with the playoffs this year is only 4 teams, obviously. Do you have a 4 that you see right now?
So
3 at least.
Obviously, it's a little difficult because most of the bigger teams, or some of the bigger teams, played no names, so you didn't really get to see what they're actually capable of. I think Georgia is definitely going to be one of them. Okay,
Alabama will be
as much as I hate to say it, Alabama is going to be in it because they're in it every single year.
A&M's just not at full caliber yet to beat them.
I don't see A&M. For the other 2,
I think Ohio State's in it again. They always whoop up in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I would agree. And then maybe I don't think Notre Dame.
No.
I don't think Michigan will be in it again.
No. I think it'll be Clemson. Here, and this is my reason. This is my reasoning. No, it's actually, not because
I want to hear it. Yeah.
Okay, I was watching the Georgia Tech Clemson game last night, and Clemson's defense is just insane. Like they are stacked at every position defensively. They are so good. They only play ACC teams, okay? Now, if you think about it, there are not very many very good ACC teams. You've got NC State as a maybe, and they play Notre Dame later on, but Notre Dame's also a maybe right now. Clemson has a very easy schedule, and they are already ranked number 4. And their offense is mid. Their QB is not very good, in my opinion, but Clemson's got what is it? It's like how Notre Dame's always in it, no matter what. I think this year Clemson will be in it because
I think that's a good 4. Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State, and Alabama.
And I think the numbering will be Bama at 1, Georgia at 2, Ohio State at 3, and Clemson at 4. And I think it's going to be another Bama versus Georgia. And then I'm taking Georgia because I don't want to pick Alabama. I think Georgia's going to win it again this year. Georgia lost a few guys, but they also
got
a lot of good dudes.
Their tight end, that absolutely unit of a man. What was he, like 6'7", 240 over there, stiff arming people and like hurdling guys like it's nobody's business.
Stetson Bennett's still the quarterback. They've got experience there, and their defense is still just like an NFL defense basically.
Exactly.
Bama, they're good. Obviously, they've got amazing talent like they always do.
They have it every year.
But I don't think their defense is as good as Georgia. And Georgia showed us last year that it is like Georgia's got that confidence now because they've beat Bama, and I think
that was the big thing
4.
in the national championship last year was that. So obviously Georgia and Alabama played twice, but what we saw different in the second game for Georgia than in the first game is in the second game Georgia's defense was able to take control of the game and they owned Alabama's offense, but obviously, it was different in the first game because Alabama won, but Georgia's defense was the reason. Well, was a lot of the reason that they won the Natty last year, and obviously,
tons of
they have the same guy, a lot of the same dudes coming back this year, so they have that powerhouse defense once again. So I would also say that Georgia's going to win.
And Georgia will be around for a while. I think Georgia is looking to replace Bama as the new always there, always winning.
For me,
we said, Bama's on its way out.
You said what you said about the first 4 teams. I would switch the first 2. I would say Georgia, Bama, Ohio State, and then Clemson.
How are they going to jump Bama though?
Well, I mean, I guess so. For me, I just think that Georgia is better. I see them as being the champions, and also
no, I think they're better too.
But also, actually, Bama is favored to win. So,
and the college football playoff guys love Saban, so I think they'll just put. Remember last year they just put Bama at number 1 for no reason?
They'll probably do that again this year, but I don't think that Alabama
I don't think they should be number 1. I don't think Bama should be favored 3rd in all of history. I don't understand what this confidence in Alabama is right now. Bama showed everyone last year with the same guy. They have the same guys, by the way, this year, if not a couple less. They've lost some receivers. That they are vulnerable right now. Bryce Young is not the greatest in the world, even though he won the Heisman. I don't think he deserved the Heisman, but they've shown that they're vulnerable, and Georgia's shown that it is just stacked.
Powerhouse, absolutely
everywhere right now.
Ripped Oregon, which I love to see.
And then Ohio State, they're kind of like the Bama, the Big Ten. They're always stacked. They don't really lose.
They got C.J. Stroud back. Obviously, he looked amazing this weekend, and maybe he'll win a Heisman this year. I don't know. I think he has potential if he can.
He's a favorite.
If he can be C.J. Stroud, the C.J. Stroud that we all know, then I think he could very well win a Heisman.
I would rather him win the Heisman than Bryce Young again.
Yeah, I would agree.
Or Willie Anderson.
Or any Alabama player.
Yes, Bama players.
If I saw C.J. Stroud get the Heisman, I'd be okay with that.
Same. Or Haynes King. If he wants to step up.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to be the most disappointing team this year?
The most disappointing team this year.
High expectations come in and just completely.
What I was going to say when you mentioned Haynes King, I need to say it real quick before I forget.
Go ahead.
I think Haynes King is going to get injured again.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because one thing that we saw on Saturday that I forgot to mention earlier is that they just ran QB power and like all these QB runs over and over again, and
He's
it's
already
like
he's already shown
as
he's
soon
fragile.
as soon as he comes back off of his injury, the first thing we start do is running it with him, and so I'm like, are we trying to injure him again?
I think you should just go ahead and throw Wigman in there. We have this amazing quarterback on our bench. He's like one of the 5-star recruits, top QBs in the nation, freshman right now. Throw him in there.
Yeah,
I don't see the damage. You have Max Johnson as your backup.
I was about to say, or why not Max Johnson? Maybe
Max Johnson has a lot of experience.
I think the thing is it's just that
Haynes is
Haynes
Jimbo's
King
guy.
was supposed to be the guy from day one for Jimbo, and so it's like he's his son, air quotes.
Yeah, kind of
basically.
like Kellen Mond was.
Yeah,
I think what's gonna happen. Haynes is gonna start. I think Max is there just to be the backup. I don't think Max is gonna ever earn a starting job here at A&M. He's a 5th-year senior, anyways. I think it's Haynes this year, but it's Connor next year. Unless Haynes this year is just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Connor is next year for sure.
Okay, so back to Joseph's question earlier. Mine is he asked the biggest disappointment team. I think it's obvious, Alabama. Okay, we dog on them all the time. They're expected to win the national championship literally every year for some reason. But I don't see that happening this year. I see Georgia lifting the trophy once again, which I'm kind of okay with because I don't like Alabama. But they set such high standards for them every single year and such high expectations, but I don't think that they'll meet that this year. I think they'll fail again.
I'm going to go with another one of our hated teams. I'm going to go with the Longhorns. Y'all are going to have a disappointing season because Ewers is not the guy, okay? And everyone's picking Texas for some reason to upset Alabama.
To beat Alabama, and the only reason is because they're playing in Austin. Like that means anything.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and just say that they're going to get smacked by Alabama because the Longhorns have no defense.
I was about to say the Big 12 is kind of notorious for not having the greatest of defenses. And what I remember from last year was when Texas Tech played Texas in Austin, and it was like 50-something to 60-something or whatever.
It was
and
crazy.
They're just
it was like
throwing,
touchdown after touchdown.
Throwing bomb after bomb. It's just home run ball after home run ball
So that's
on
what
each
you're going to
other's
see
defenses.
from Bama this
and
week.
Bama's going to do that exact same thing to
And
Texas.
Bama's
Quinn
gonna
Ewers
shut
is
them
going
down.
to absolutely get dominated by Bama's defense.
And I think Texas just goes in every year acting like they're the best around, and they haven't won anything in a long time.
They're
I like the Cowboys.
Well, I was gonna say they're what am I looking for? They're like media hype level.
Yeah.
Every year is similar to Alabama.
Yep.
But the only difference is that Alabama can kind of back it up because every year they're good. But Texas is never good.
There are teams in the AP poll and the college football playoffs that are always ranked higher than they should be because they're historic and the committee loves them. Bama, Notre Dame, Texas, and USC. Always ranked, even if they shouldn't be, ranked higher than they should be every year. And Texas, we love to see them lose. We do. And there's not very many teams that love Texas. Obviously, A&M, there's a big rivalry there. Can't wait till they come to the SEC. But Texas, I think, is going to be a disappointing season again for them. I mean, they lost to Kansas last year. I don't know why we're giving them so much hype this year.
I think they're in for a rude awakening when they play Alabama in Austin.
I think so as well. There's no need for hype around that game. It's just going to be another game where Bama just dominates.
Yes, and as a very anti-UT person, I love to see them fail. It warms my heart to see them fail.
That will be the one game this season I'm actually rooting for Bama to win.
I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm rooting for Bama because
I am.
I can't do that personally as a human being. I can't do that, but I will be happy whenever I see them lose 50-0.
It's like bittersweet.
Yeah.
I don't want them to succeed, but this would be one game where I'm like, I'm just expecting it. I'm like, okay, Texas got what's coming to them, So that's what I think going to be disappointment. I think we both picked Georgia to win this season. Next season, it is the year of the Aggie.
Oh, yeah.
I think, but we need one
I
more
think
year to get our guys ready.
One of the next 2 years is going to be the year of the Aggies because
I think so too.
all of these new guys are going to be settled in next year, but then also I think the year after that will be very similar.
And we have a phenomenal coach, so no worries there. Mm-hmm. Jimbo is the answer, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude, I just want Jimbo to do what he did with Jameis to Haynes King
Yes.
or Wigman.
Make him the
or
Heisman.
Whomever we have, and just make them an absolute
Yes.
beast at quarterback. It doesn't matter how dumb they are in real life. Jameis Winston has proved that he is a fool every time he opens his mouth in an interview
But you got to love him.
to the media.
But you got to love
But
him.
hey, at the end of the day, did he win a national
He did.
championship or did he not?
And he's
He
hilarious.
did. And he won a Heisman.
So good job, Jameis. Let's go, Jimbo. Also, would love to get you on the show sometime, Jimbo, just to hear your thoughts about the team. But we are hyped for this college football season. Excited for Thursday night. Bills-Rams kick off the NFL season. And
Also, in light of the NFL season, we thought that every week we would bring you a little fantasy segment because that is a big
5
part.
minutes.
Yeah, it won't be a lot of the show, but it's just that's something that's very important during the NFL season
Yes.
is fantasy football.
And we're both very involved in fantasy football. Mm-hmm. So
Absolutely.
we will be giving our thoughts.
Just kind of things people to look out for, breakout players,
waiver wire picks.
people to snag.
This
So-
one, that was actually suggested by Colton Pittman over
Yes.
at our sponsor, Andrews Logistics. Going to give him credit for that one.
Well, here's where we like to end our shows on Under Review. I thought I'd give you a quote by the GOAT of receivers, Jerry Rice. The enemy of the best is the good. If you're always settling with what's good, you'll never be the best. And that is a fact.
That is a fact.
And Jerry Rice knows better than anyone else about being the best because that's what he is.
He is the best. I would still take Michael Irvin
Oh, well,
because he's
obviously.
my guy.
Well, I mean, is he the playmaker or is he the
He
playmaker?
is the playmaker. There's only one right answer. Thank y'all for tuning in this week to Under Review. We are looking forward to next week when we can talk some NFL. Finally. And get ready. Sit back this Sunday and Thursday and
Enjoy.
Monday.
What
Just
is
watch
it?
some games.
5 months of glory.
We're back. This is Under Review. Signing out for this week. We'll see you next week.